Yeah, I mean, we played against one of the best defensive teams in the NBA the game before, and we had 12 turnovers, and tonight we had 24. So, we didn't handle that very well. We knew that that's one of their strengths. To pressure the ball, they did a great job, so credit to them. We have to be better. We'll watch film and make sure that, our pressure release is better.
What did you see, from Reece Beekman in his first career start? And I guess, did he, do anything in particular that has been a focus for him, behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, I want him to be vocal, to organize the team, to be aggressive and drive, find the paint and spray. And I think he did a good job. Got up 13 shots, 4 threes, 5 assists. 2 turnovers, so I'm happy with what I saw from him. He played extremely hard, same as everybody else, so proud of him.
You guys had a lot of moments where you guys were able to go on runs to cut into that lead. Just what stood out, especially from the young guys, with the way that they were able to find ways and fight?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it, right? Like the resiliency, and kept working, kept fighting, especially in that third quarter, only allowing 21 points. Every other quarter was 28 and 30 plus. So that third quarter was great. Great to see we came out of the locker room and we challenged ourselves. We just couldn't follow up with a good fourth quarter. We allow, out of those 38 points in the fourth quarter, 30 were in the paint. So you either not getting back in transition, you're not, as a low man, you're not doing your job, but we're turning it over for an easy layup. So it was not good that fourth quarter. We lost by 1, but overall it was poor.
It's only been a few games, and I know Nick and Dayron didn't play tonight, so Drew was in the starting lineup. What have you made of his play, since he came to the roster?
Yeah, he's been very good. Like, again, he connected with his teammates right away. He fits in his personality and his game. I wanted him to keep shooting the 3. He ran to the corner, made an amazing 3 in transition. Didn't count because he stepped out of bounds. But I want him to, stay aggressive, keep shooting the ball. He had 7 rebounds, 13 points. So very happy with him. But not just the production. Sometimes the ball is going to go in. Sometimes it's not going to go in. But his intentions, how good of a teammate he is. He comes in and works every day. So I'm very happy with Drew. He had one question. Did you have one? Yeah.
All right, Jordi, you talk about that resilience, but what to make of the rim pressure in the first half? I think that's what kept you guys in the game. Was that something you would say kind of kept you guys in it?
Yeah, I think that the guys did a good job being aggressive. They, with their switchability, we put our heads down and drove, but we only had 16 threes in the first half, and it's really hard if you're not shooting free throws and getting to the rim. If you do it at a high rate, I'm okay with less threes. Sometimes you got to live with it. But we were not finding that balance. And then once you shoot those threes, then you give yourself a chance to offensive rebound. So I want the guys to be aggressive. Like you said, I think they did, but we didn't really accomplish 10 for 35. We have to be better. We got to find them, and it usually comes. It's like a domino effect. If you're good at the rim, then you have to be ready to spray. So, for us, a good lesson, and we just got to move on to the next one and be better.
Yeah, they do a great job of, trying to disrupt the plays, making it difficult throughout the whole game. They started with their ball pressure, picking up full court, and just being physical. So I could tell that they pride themselves on that, and they kind of, disrupted us a little bit from the start with that and kind of, lingered throughout the whole game.
At what point, when did you find out that you were getting the start for today's matchup?
Yesterday we had a shoot around, so we went through, the scout and stuff, and that's told me I was going to be starting. So, yeah.
What was it just like to get this opportunity, and what was the key for you to finding your rhythm and finding ways to be so impactful on both ends of the floor?
First it's a blessing, for this to be my first year, have starting the NBA, that doesn't happen a lot. So I'm just, blessed to be in this opportunity. I just want to thank God for me being here. But, it just took time to settle in, It's a fast-paced game. I'm still learning it in my first year. So, just learning different spots on the court, learning where to be effective and, just try to make a mark on both ends of the floor.
Jordi mentioned he wants you, among other things, to work on being vocal and being a leader out there and getting the team organized. I know you've been playing point guard for a long time, but does being vocal as a rookie and traded to a new team, is that something that comes natural for your personality, or I guess just how does that fit in with your personality?
I think that just takes time. Getting to know the guys, trusting the guys. They play with you. Practice and stuff. But as a point guard, you kind of have to have that trait to be a point guard in the league. So, it's kind of different from my personality. I'm a more laid back type of person. So, I have to work on that, getting out of my comfort zone. But, I think that's, improvement that I can work on, going into next season and to finish off this season.
You came here, midway through the season, and since you've been here, it's been, basically back and forth between here and the G League. Mm-hmm. In the time that you've been in Brooklyn, what has been the main thing that you've had to learn now that you're seeing more time on the floor now?
I don't know. I think just to make the most of this opportunity. Everything's coming at you quick, but just stay ready. That's something that Jordi always talks about. Continue just to play your game. I think he trusts and believes in everybody to go out there and play to their ability. So that gives I think it gives us confidence to go out there and do what we came here to do.
Reece, you obviously had, like you just kind of discussed, a lot of different experiences this year. From like a development standpoint, right, improving your game, because you've been playing a lot in the G, or you've been playing a lot of minutes here recently, but sometimes you haven't been playing a lot. Like, what has kind of been the focus for you, and then kind of the second part of that, what has it been like working with the development staff, especially here in Brooklyn?
I think just to get better every day. Like I said before, make most of the opportunity that I'm given. Like today, just being my first start. Just want to be thankful to be here and just like we say, get 1% better every day. So. It's been great. The development staff, here and the G League, they're great people. They just want to get you better. They ask you what you think on stuff. They want your input, but they also have like a good system that they run very well. So, I'm thankful for them. They put a lot of hard work into the season that goes unseen sometimes, but they helped me a lot this season. Like you said, as I go back and forth and sometimes not playing.